Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the second season
Who's are wild?
of Smart Drivel, but we now call it Learn, Rant, Laugh, a Smart Drivel podcast. And we're coming to you also, yet again, in video as well as in audio. If we could get you in aroma too, then you could smell us as well, but that might not be good.
Thinking that's not our best choice, Kurt. That's a creative choice we're going to have to disagree about.
So just to and we're not going to do this every episode, but only because it's our second one, just to reiterate in case someone happened to miss last week's and they're parachuting in, what we do now in this second season after 301 episodes of season 1 is we talk about three things in a week. Something that we learned that we didn't know or we relearned, something that ticks us off that gets under our skin, and something that made us tickle, made us laugh, made us ha ha ha, tickled us. I mean, not made us tickle because that would be a little weird. So that's what we
Could
talk
you
about.
imagine? Could you imagine actually ever hearing something that made you want to tickle somebody else? Perhaps
I
if someone said tickle me, that might be it, or I'm really ticklish. But it's
Elmo.
hard to make someone want to tickle.
I agree. But before we get into this week's episode, I'd like to ask your opinion on something.
I have opinions.
Okay, I know you do. So, and I think you'll be, well, you know what? I'm not going to set you up and I'm not going to whatever you. So I was having a conversation just this morning with my girlfriend. And if you want me to later on, I'll explain the provenance, but I was saying something about me.
Shocking.
And, and at the end of it, she said something like, look, there's another word for that. It could be, I said, are you calling me arrogant? She said, well, it could be seen that way. And I said, I'm not arrogant, I'm cocky. And she said, what's the difference in your mind? And I started talking about it, but what's the difference in your mind?
I think there is a subtle difference. I'm going to try to smell the difference back to your smell concept. If you're arrogant, you think you're better than.
And you're
And
looked
if you're
down
and
upon.
if you're cocky, you are self-confident in a way that may be a little loud or over the top.
100% correct, John. I mean, I like to disagree with you. That's
Like I
right.
won something.
And so I feel that I'm cocky, not arrogant.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'd rather be seen as cocky, not arrogant. I'd rather be accused of being overly self-confident than coming off as if I were better than anybody else. Sure.
So then I happen to be on a phone call with my son, my younger son, Quinn, after this thing.
Cocky
And,
little guy.
and I
Yeah.
said, I'm cocky, not arrogant. And he's like, what? He said, you are arrogant. I said, no, I'm not. That's someone who looks down on someone else. He said, Dad, what you do all the time, like someone's cooking, you know where that was invented? And you don't care about what the person does. You just want to tell them and show that you know something. I said, no, I'm trying to
He
bring them
he
into
thinks
the
that he
kitchen.
thinks that's arrogant, showing off your knowledge of something. It's possible you just one like to teach, two like to imbue situations with more depth and meaning, three possibly just like to talk, and four you like to show off what you know, or maybe just some combination of all four, Kurt.
I knew I was talking to the right guy because, boy, if you and I share anything in life, we kind of share this.
Oh
You
yes, we have something to say about most things.
you would not say that you're arrogant, so why would you say I am? Because then I could look right back at
Gosh,
you.
I would hate to be called arrogant. That would
Me
bother me.
But there are people that we all know that are certainly arrogant. People in business, people in social situations that you're right. They just want to look down and try to put themselves above
I
something.
just think, I think it probably tacks back to something probably not so pretty inside them. I imagine they are meeting their own personal ego needs at someone else's expense. But anyway, is any of this the raw material for a transition into the episode, Kurt?
No, but
No.
in
Okay.
with the known danger that I might be exposing myself, I will tell you
Do
why
not
this.
expose yourself because we now have video, Kurt.
that exposed myself to criticism. I'll tell
Oh,
you why it came up. I decided, and I think I was on my third cup of coffee, to tell her, I was like, lucky for you that you started dating me at this time of my life because I happen to be one of those people that's getting better looking every year of my life. And you're catching me way on the ascent. And that's when she talked about arrogant. And I said, it wasn't arrogant. It's
yeah,
cocky.
that's not arrogance, I don't think.
No, I don't think so either.
No, I think that's a little boy screaming inside for acceptance and validation.
I don't think so. I
Okay,
think
I was
it's
just saying that to be provocative, but
I think it's
um,
someone who feels pretty damn good about themselves and wants the world to know it.
yeah, and I think situationally you do feel really good about yourself.
Oh,
There
that
are
is
other situations. Look, we all have our ups and downs. Well, I also think it's good that she met you when you weren't married.
yeah, well, that's true too. Nature or nurture confidence, John.
I think it's both. I think a lot of these things are both. I don't think it's one or the other. I think you can have a certain chemical setup that might make you more likely to be a confident person. But I also think certain behavioral reinforcements, how you fit into your family, who you bumped into in society when you started going to school, and what kind of feedback you got, and all sorts of incredibly subtle little things shape us in ways that we don't even understand. Kurt, do you want
Nature,
to?
John. Nature. I think it's nature.
Well, that's arrogant of you to assume that it would be so black and white.
I once had a sociology class in college, and the I forgot what even the class was about, but this guy's whole argument,
Sociology, Kurt.
and he had written an article about it. Um, his whole point was that charisma is made, not born. Born, not made. No, made, not
If you're
born.
arguing nature, I think it's going to be born, not made.
And I was arguing nature, and I said
Oh,
he thought that
look,
here's what his argument was: like a president, you can be a meek person, but once you become president of the United States, the office is imbued with charisma, and you get it. And I said, bullshit. You either have it or you don't going into it.
I
And
think you're both wrong.
I then spent my term paper at the end of the term critiquing his paper and saying how wrong he was. Not a smart thing to do, by the way. Arrogant? No. Cocky? Maybe.
Definitely cocky. So it's ridiculous to assume it is 100% one and not the other.
Why not?
You're much more nuanced in your own. Hey, Kurt, you want to start the podcast?
Yeah, we have, John. But
Do you want to transition into the format that you promised our listeners
yeah,
at the top of this?
I think most people crave binary situations. Harry Truman put everything into black or white, everything. That's why when he dropped the bomb, it was an easy decision for him. Me, I'd probably still be worrying about the decision
Who knows how
85 years
easy it
later.
really, who knows how easy it really was. But the fact that we crave simplicity and clear answers doesn't mean that answers are clear and simple. It just means we hate uncertainty and ambiguity and we work hard to eliminate it. But guess what? Most things are uncertain and ambiguous,
And
like the structure of this podcast, for
and
example.
most fun things I think live in the gray in between.
I think life takes place in the gray in between.
Yes,
How
it
many
does.
truly 0, 100 things are there? Not that many. Hey, Kurt, have you learned anything interesting since our last podcast?
I have, John.
What's that?
I have.
You want to share it with us or you want me to share it with you?
Uh, why don't you share something you learned with me?
Right. Well, this is actually going to build on a foundation, Kurt, that we discussed on a podcast a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. I
We
agree.
once we once talked about the fact that when you press the close door button in an elevator, it doesn't do anything. It does not do anything to accelerate the timing of the closed door. That
Unless
door, what?
unless you live in New York City.
Actually, even in New York City now. But there is actually a way to, let me tell you the rest of the story, but there is a way to override, but you are not qualified to override it.
But in New York, it does work.
Yeah, but I don't
Just
think it does anymore.
no, it does. I do it all the time.
Of course, because you have control over all of these things.
No,
I
I
believe,
press the close button and it closes. But New
Yeah.
York's the only city that does it, and that's what we found out as a fact last time.
Yeah, I don't know if that's still the case because those are actually placebo buttons because the timing of the door opening and the door closing is determined by a central computer, even in New
How?
York.
How?
It's HAL, yeah. So what's interesting though is that they leave the buttons there. Obviously, it would be very expensive to go swap out all the buttons and, change the elevators for that reason. But it clearly has a placebo effect because look, you believe you're in control. But the fact that we are able to control or think we have control actually makes us more patient. And studies show that we are willing to wait 30% more time for something if we believe we are in control of the process, that we initiated the process. However, we've discussed,
Really cool, by the way. I
well,
get that.
look, so what's interesting is that there's no sign in the elevator that says, don't bother pressing this button because it ain't going to do anything
Except
because
you're in New York.
they want it because there's value in maintaining the illusion. So we've talked about elevators before, but what I learned since our last episode that the exact same thing is true for traffic lights in New York City, Kurt, and other cities as well. So when you press the walk button, you ain't doing nothing to affect the timing of the lights. It's
But if
the
you press it a lot and you keep pressing it, that's
Actually,
it.
not if you press it a lot, but if you press it extra hard, then it definitely works. But the truth is, inside those traffic light controller things are basically a bunch of wires connected to nothing. Now, they used to work, but over the last few decades, as things have moved from local control to system level centralized control, there are probably only 100, maybe a little bit more traffic lights in New York City out of many thousands that actually, when you press the button, something happens. The rest are controlled by a central computer.
I don't know if I am excited about that or absolutely scared for the future of humanity.
Well, let me tell you why you will like it, and then let me speculate on why you wouldn't. Why you
Okay.
wouldn't.
All right.
The fact is, when you control things at the system level, like the
Yeah.
traffic patterns and traffic flow in a congested major metropolitan in a city, then guess what? You gain all sorts of efficiencies, you gain safety, and you gain scale. So the fact that the traffic moves through the automobile traffic moves through the city better is a good thing for everybody because you want to improve circulation.
Unless you are in the Irish town of Syracuse, New York.
Where
Irish.
one traffic light is what, Kurt? Upside down. And do you remember why it's upside down?
Course, because they didn't want it to be red, yellow, green, because red is the color of England and green's the color of Ireland, and they refused to have England on top of Ireland.
Right. So rather than red on top and green on the bottom, they flipped it so that Ireland was in the place of primacy. Who knows how many accidents they caused from out of towners. But the bottom line is when you move from the local input to the system wide control, you unlock all sorts of efficiencies. Now, I think what you're reacting to, because you always have a bias, you have a bias for acting negatively toward technology's role in our life. This notion of supervised autonomy is a little discomforting. And I
Yeah,
also think that,
dystopian.
well, I don't know that it's dystopian, but
John, it's right out of your favorite novel of all time.
Brave New World by
Yeah,
Aldous Huxley,
yeah.
which I read in the ninth grade and haven't read since. So
But
clearly
you
it had an
love that
impact.
novel.
You know what? It was quite prescient in many ways. But I think what's also interesting, and it speaks to the potentially manipulative aspect of all of this, is the fact that these systems went from individual human local control
Yeah.
to systemic control without informing us because the city or the building operator wanted to maintain the illusion. Imagine if there was a sign that says, "This does not affect the system. Please enjoy the illusion of control." It would ruin the magic trick.
It's kind of like when we went from agrarian society to an industrial society. Same thing. No one said, stop sowing your own oats because you're not an individual anymore. You're now going to come and work on a conveyor belt. We didn't say that. It just happened. And what happened? We lost independence. We became a cog. Sorry.
Yeah, but I think in some ways it also allowed the human role to step up a level. So rather than the human having to control things by pressing a button on the street corner, humans went and became systems engineers. And, that's a bit more of an elevated role than a button pusher. So I don't think it's all bad and all good. Just back to your nature nurture. There's good parts and bad parts. But I think if you run a city, traffic flowing through the city in an efficient, safe way is a pretty important collective priority, even if it inconveniences you in Times Square.
What we're going to work on with you in the future is getting you to have an opinion.
And your definition of having an opinion is taking, um, actually, what you're describing is what's wrong with the world right now. There's
Exactly.
my side and your side, black and
Oh,
white, right and wrong, you or
good
me.
point,
So the
John.
fact your need for this otherism, you're either right or you're wrong, is contributing to the dystopia that you're so afraid of.
This is a evergreen episode and podcast, but it was February 2nd the other day, which is Ayn Rand Day. And, she had her individualism, romanticism, etc. And I think she would balk at what you're saying because Howard Rourke did things his way. He wouldn't press a button that went nowhere. Howard Rourke would design something that was beautiful. I'm talking about the Fountainhead, obviously, John.
So let me ask you a question. So Ayn Rand had this philosophy of life,
Objectivism.
right? And are you a fan of it or not a fan of it?
Well, I think it's like nature and nurture. It's a combination of the two. I'm a
I
fan
see.
of parts of
I
it.
see. Because I recall you saying, there are parts of it I like, parts of it I don't like. How
All
about
right.
that, Kurt?
All right.
Welcome to nuance.
So I will be in New York next week, obviously, again, and I'll press the traffic light many times and see what happens.
I think the fun thing is I've known about the elevator thing for a while. It will not stop me from pressing the button because I want the illusion of control.
SIBO effect, baby.
You
So
betcha.
I'm going to also delve into psychology for what I learned this week, John. But this is what I relearned this week because it's something that I knew. But with the advent of the Olympics, which started this week, right?
Right.
Winter Olympics, I was reminded of something. I did a little research on it, which I think is fascinating and I love. And I'm going to just read something here because this is what it is. Research has consistently shown a surprising pattern among Olympic medalists. Bronze medalists are often happier than silver medalists,
Mhm.
despite
Yeah,
finishing in third place rather than second,
definitely.
right? And they
Yeah.
found that bronze medalists displayed more genuine happiness than silver medalists, both immediately after their events and during medal ceremonies. This counterintuitive result is explained by counterfactual thinking, which is the human tendency to imagine alternative outcomes. Silver medalists tend to focus upward, thinking, I almost won gold. This near miss creates disappointment and regret. Bronze medalists, however, focus downward, thinking, I almost didn't medal at all. They feel
Happy to be
relief.
here.
Right. They feel relief and gratitude for making it onto the
Yeah.
podium. All those
Totally
others
get it.
did,
Totally get
comparing
it.
themselves to fourth place rather than first.
Yeah.
Gold medalists, unsurprisingly, show the highest level of satisfaction.
Imagine that.
So, anyway, these findings reveal how our happiness is shaped not just by objective outcomes, but by the mental comparisons we make, right?
You're suggesting that,
Frame of
yeah,
reference,
yeah. So that matters.
right? In a big way.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think I would guess that most groups of people watching the Olympics, watching the medal round of something or the finals of something, have probably had some version of that conversation
For sure.
because you see the winner, you see the second place person, you see the third place person, you identify with them, and clearly the gold is the gold. And the silver is just like, I agree with you. Oh, so close to winning gold.
A
And the third,
second,
how about that? We're going to learn how to gesture less aggressively with this microphone in our
a
face.
half a second. I could have done it. Damn it. And Bronze
Yeah.
is
And
like,
you live with
I'm
that the
up
rest
here,
of your life.
baby. Right. And Bronze is like, I'm up here, baby. I don't care if I was a minute and a half less. I
Yeah.
was better than all you other suckers.
No, you got a medal. I
Right?
agree. I
Right.
agree.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
So, oh boy, we're agreeing on everything. But I thought
No,
that
I don't
was
think we're
really
agreeing on everything, but I think on that one, I think that is I think most
counterfactual.
people would agree with that.
Yeah, it's comparing. Well, I think if you're arrogant, are you comparing? Or if you're cocky, are you comparing? I don't know.
How would an arrogant person react to gold? Pretty straightforward. Of
Yep.
course, I was gold. I'm better than everybody.
Right. And I was wrong.
Silver, I got cheated somehow because I can't be the reason I wasn't gold because I'm better than everybody.
Exactly.
And bronze, what would the psychology be? I am better than everybody. I got a medal.
Right. I proved it to you.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to
All
discuss
these
those other two.
competitors, only three of us got medals.
Right. The three of us are the best.
I'm in the medal winning group. So
Right.
yeah. So
And
it's a similar phenomenon.
the cocky person would say before the event, I'm going to go kick ass. And when they came down, they're going to say, I kicked ass
Yeah,
regardless. So,
probably true.
yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I relearned this week. And I
All
always
right.
thought that was fascinating.
Are you ready
Counterfactual.
are you ready to get ticked off?
Yeah.
Uh,
So I'll go first here. And I actually
would you
had,
like to go first, Kurt?
yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
why don't you go?
Well, I had two.
All right.
And one is far more layered and it ends up being a rant about society today. So I think I'm going to save that unless we need time at the end and then I'll bring it back.
If you were to get a tattoo, I think there's a pretty good chance it would read the problem with society today. Dot.
So I was going to go off into how I think people today are
Why don't you save it?
lazy and entitled. And I have examples why.
It is a through line in your social thinking.
But here's the thing that ticks me off. And this happened just this morning on the phone. When people say, I'll let you go at the end of a phone call,
Then they keep talking.
no, no, no. It's because they want the phone to end, but they want to put it on you that you're ending it. I know you're busy, so I'll let you go. I want to keep talking. And
Wow.
they clearly want to end the conversation, but they put it like it's your reason to end the conversation. You're ending it, not me. I'll let you go.
So do you think they're being manipulative?
Completely. And that pisses me off. Just say, all right, I'm done. But they're trying to be, I think they're trying to be nice, which is
Yeah,
okay.
I'm trying to think about where they might be coming from, and I don't know.
I think it's the breakup line. It's not you, it's me.
Maybe, but I think
I'll let you go.
it could just be kindness. And humility. I've taken up enough of your time.
Okay, so I've done that and I've called people out on it and I've said to them, I don't need to go. Let's keep talking. And that's when I go, well, actually, I need to go. Just say that. I'm okay. Just say, hey, Kurt, we've had a 10-minute conversation. You've spoken for 9.5 minutes and I got to go now. And I'll be like, oh, okay. Don't say, I'll let you go.
I'm just surprised that you only spoke for 9.5 minutes.
Yeah, the biggest mistake anyone can say to me on a phone is, how you doing? I think they just want to know that I'm good or bad, but I really take it like they want to know about like how I brushed my teeth this morning. So
It's
let
the
me
arrogance in you thinking they actually want an answer to that question, a
it's
thoughtful, deep answer to that question. But
arrogant.
I also think, Kurt, it's possible it's just a little conversational convention that actually doesn't mean anything except it's a transition to the end of the call. It could just be insert phrase here without any particular, could just be sort of an empty vessel for okay, we're done. And it's got a politeness to it and it's got an other focus to it, which is nice. I don't necessarily know that the goal in all or most cases is to manipulate the other party into
I think that's
thinking
what they are. And by the way, how about when people sign off?
maybe it's just the people you know.
What about people that sign off emails with best,
That's
comma?
me. I do that.
It doesn't mean anything. Say regards. Say something else. Best. Best what?
It
It's
means
stupid. And I have
no,
so many
it's
friends that do this.
oh my
Best.
God, it's not stupid. It's basically shorthand for sending all my best.
So just say that.
No, because in
Best
digital
what?
communications in particular, you
Best
tend to
ultimate
truncate
frisbee player? Best tuna fish salad maker? Best what?
sending my best, or it's short for all my best, which is a perfectly reasonable and polite close.
All my best what? It's not a complete phrase.
All my
Say two
best,
words.
I'm sending you my
You
best wishes.
and say that.
No, Kurt, because in email and text in particular, but also in email, we tend to speak in shorthand because they're not long form media.
Finish the damn thing.
No,
That's
many
what.
people in email don't even use punctuation, which I don't appreciate, but they think that because it's not a print media, that all the rules go. So I don't think a little shorthand is a big deal.
Best in show? What is it? Best.
I
Okay.
think it's funny when people write okay, OKAY. They basically have taken the shorthand and elongated it.
So good thing I didn't bring my real big rant because that we would definitely run out of time.
Well, here's when you started talking about your rant, I got nervous that it was going to be the same as my rant, but it fortunately was not. So
That Minute Maid frozen orange juice is no longer being made. Remember,
it's
we
not.
grew up on that
I know you
stuff.
got to put water in there, and yeah, is that no longer being
It
made?
was always
What
kind
are
of
you doing, Kurt?
you took the wooden spoon and you
Oh, the
broke
wooden spoon you're doing. Okay, I thought you had one of those shake weights.
and you added the water and then but we didn't even get the Minute Maid or the Tropicana version. I think we got the Shopwell version growing up. And
Was
it
that
was
Shop
not
Right?
good.
All right, Kurt, what were we talking about?
Your rant. And you
Oh,
thought it would be the same
and
as
how
yours.
did orange juice come up?
My rant was they're no longer making Minute Maid frozen oranges. That
And
was
so
a
you
part of
decided to have a mini rant inside my rant opening. Okay, good.
our childhood.
Are you done? Do you
Yeah,
feel like you got your rant out?
let me just press the close button here.
Yeah, yeah. So I am tired of being gaslit when I call a company's customer service number, which fortunately we don't have to do as much as we used to because we can now do it online and have a chat, even if it's with an AI chatbot. At least we don't have to dial the phone and wait on hold. But here's what pisses me off.
Suffer the ignominy of listening to these people.
If you're lucky enough to get them, here's
Yeah.
what pisses me off. And this is gaslighting.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You call and a computer answers, not a human, and says, your call is extremely important to us. It's prima facie evidence that my call is not that important to them by virtue of the fact they didn't answer it. Okay? So here's my idea.
It's a good
Ra-
point.
Rather than lie to us,
Mm-hmm.
because it's disingenuous, it's bullshit, it's just not true. Okay? It's flat out not true, or else they would handle this very different. Here's my proposal. And if you and I were to have a company, Kurt, that had a customer service, this is how I'd want to handle it. And I think we would win major, major points. And I think any company out there today could win major, major points by being honest. So I wrote some possible alternatives to your call is very important to us. Here's my favorite. Your call is extremely important to you. Your patience matters to us more than your problem.
True.
We know why you're calling. You're still going to wait. And please remain on the line while nothing changes. And
Take
here's
that.
my final one, which is really the truth. You're on hold because hiring more people costs money. So, Kurt, if we had a business, I would like to answer the phone. You're on hold because hiring more people costs money. Thank you for your patience.
At least you're out front with it, which I like.
Look,
I
I
get it.
I understand at some level you can't have enough people waiting around for peak call volume. That's in no one's interest.
And by the way, what's the further spit in the face of this whole thing? When you finish the call, you get a text or an email. Tell us how we did. How was it?
As if they care.
Right. Or
But
stay online for a survey. You guys suck.
yeah, all they have to say is your call is a lot more important to you than it is to us right now. So you're going to have to wait.
Have you ever called the IRS?
No, I don't
Oh,
think so.
I think I waited 4 hours. They don't even have the we can call you back. I like that feature, which is
Can we
instead
agree? I have not, and I hope not to have to wait on hold for or wait for a call back 4 hours. But I do understand the notion of peak not being able to staff to peak call volume. No problem.
Kansas.
What made you say Kansas?
You said Topeka.
Oh God. Okay. So, look, stop saying your call is important to us when it clearly is not. It's lying. It doesn't help. I don't feel good about it. You're not building our relationship. You're
What
lying.
what if you called customer service at 2:30 in the morning?
Oh, and they say, we're experiencing
Right.
more call volume than we normally get it. Sure. Sure.
BS on that, right?
Yeah. And by the way, that means this is the normal call volume and you still can't handle it.
Which means we are just not hiring people, so it's less expensive. I was told that the cheapest way to buy airline tickets is at 2:37 a.m. for some reason. There's some like glitch in the system. It's like a
There's a,
wrinkle in time.
it's the Matrix.
Yep. Dive in, baby.
I haven't tried to buy plane tickets using any of the AI tools yet, but I keep coming across tweets that said, "Here are 7 prompts you can use to, get a business class ticket for $100." And they're probably a little they're a little cocky, perhaps in their
Ooh,
tone.
well done.
In
So
any event, stop
w-
lying to us.
we need to wrap up today's episode, John.
Well, I'm going to go next.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you something that made me laugh this week. You're going to tell me what made you laugh.
All right, so I there's this guy on Instagram.
Oh boy.
I believe it's The Leighton Show, Leighton, the dash Leighton dash show. I want to give him credit. He also has books on the same topic. And every once in a while, he publishes a video of 6 or 7 real life texts
Oh
parents got from their teenage
yeah, yeah,
children.
yeah.
And some of them are just so good. They're either total they're either this child, has lived in a bubble and doesn't know anything about life because probably they're growing up, or they're just so
So funny.
intolerant of their parents.
How
But
is grandma related to us, right?
yeah, yeah. In fact, that's one of my favorite ones ever. I'm going to look at my notes here because there's a few I want to read.
My friend was just going over this with us last weekend, and she was giving so many examples, and we were
Yeah.
laughing.
Did grandma have children?
Right. Oh, that's what it
Yeah.
is.
Here's another one I saw last night. Do you want to be buried or crucified when you die? Um, Please don't send dad. I'm too tired to be embarrassed.
Like that one.
This one is so good. He
You.
named one of his books this. What time is noon? You like this one. What flavor gas should I get?
What flavor? Yeah.
What flavor gas should I get? Don't check your blind spot if my friends are in the back seat. This is a new one. Can I leave a parking spot before the meter runs out?
Nope.
I mean, I guess these kids just don't
Yeah.
know. You probably tried this in high school. Do I need an ID to buy red wine vinegar?
Oh my God. I think what this gets to, if there's a problem with society, is our kids' generation are soft and they don't get it. There's some guy I saw that someone sent me the other day, and he's a psychologist, and he basically said that we finally produced a generation that is softer, and he did it in the psychological terms, than the generation had them for the first time ever.
They are very well protected, and maybe parents have probably gone too far. And I understand why parents do. I understand why we did it. It's a dangerous world, and you want to see your kids
I
anyway.
blamed it on the boomers, John. It wasn't
Yeah.
us. We
What do
were
you think of
tough.
this one? Do I need to take my empty bottle with me when I get a prescription refill? Here's one of my absolute favorite. I'll give you two more quick ones. I'm out of shower condiments. And mom, if you're still at CVS, I need armpit smell repellent. I forgot the name.
All right. Well, those are a great, and it's a great way to end this episode.
Did grandma have children?
The best.
That's my favorite one. Oh boy. All right. Well, we covered a lot of stuff, including the stuff we set out to cover and some more stuff too, because this is Smart Drivel. In fact, this is Smart Drivel. Learn, rant, laugh.
I don't want to be cocky or anything, but I think it was a pretty good episode.
I think so too, but I think what we think is important and what our listeners think is probably more important because their calls are very important to us.
Goodbye, everyone. We'll
All right,
see you
goodbye. We'll
next.
be back next time with a brand new episode of Smart Dribble. Learn, rant, laugh. All right, take care. Be well.
Ciao.